Good morning. Today's empty talk, I decided to change up my scenario a little bit. I'm no longer walking in that empty space on that seventh floor, but I have this opportunity to walk in the empty space. This one here, this empty space between the two apartment buildings. So I'm still maintaining the social distancing norms. I don't have anyone around me or near me, so I'm still okay doing that. So I decided to do the empty talk from the space here. So today I wanted to talk about how the tendencies that were formed in the past, how can we replace those tendencies? Because that was one of the questions I received from one of the listeners. So there used to be a king centuries ago who did a lot of worship to the gods and performed a lot of rituals. And his intention in doing that was to see that his subjects, the people in his kingdom, are always happy, they experience abundance, and they're always healthy, right? So he used to do all these worship rituals with that intent in mind. So there were a lot of things that were used for this worship rituals. There used to be a cup of milk, a lamp filled with oil. There were some incense sticks for fragrance, and there were a lot of grains, rice, wheat, and so many other grains that are used for the rituals. So all of that was kept ready for the morning rituals, the rituals that he would perform during the worship. So as he would be doing all those things, he had a cat that he loved a lot. Even the cat loved the king a lot, and the cat would be always around him. And as he was performing the worship rituals, the cat would walk all over the place and spill the milk and scatter the grains, and sometimes just bump into the lamp, which would then make the oil fall out and so forth. So the king, as annoyed as he was, he couldn't hurt his cat or shoo it away. So what he did was he tied the cat next to him while he was performing the rituals. And then he would continue to perform his rituals. And this rituals that he was doing resulted in great rains, and that resulted in great agriculture, and the kingdom flourished. The people were happy. There was prosperity all around, and the word spread. And all the neighboring kings, they also wondered if they could do something similar to make their kingdoms flourish. So they sent their spies to see what exactly the king does and how he does it. So they go there and they look at the ritual and find out that the king does all these things, and he also has always a cat tied next to the ritual place, the worship place. So they go back and report that to the king. The kings start to then do the same thing. They have a cup of milk, the incense sticks, the grains, the lamps with oil, and they also tie a cat next to the worship place, just like the king used to. And they all started praying, but they all prayed with different intentions. Some started to pray with personal glory or winning of a war or any other personal benefits they wanted for themselves. And of course they also included the prosperity of kingdom in that prayers. Now some got the results, some did not. So they started to question if cat is the right animal. Let's try a dog. So they tied a dog instead of a cat, and then some others tied a goat, some others tied a sheep, an elephant, a horse. So all these different experiments started to happen. But we all know that they're all operating out of an assumption, out of a myth, There was no depth in understanding why there was a cat. And if you look at it, that's exactly what we are doing. For many centuries, there have been rituals that have been passed on from generations to generations, and we're just following them without really knowing what the real meaning of those rituals are. Now, that's true with so many other things, not just the rituals, right? So today, if you are a person that's kind, that's compassionate, that's loving, that always wants to help out, that always looks out for the good of others, that's always ready to help if someone needs help. So these qualities are probably the ones that you inherited from your mother or father growing up, because you saw them exhibiting those qualities. And if you are a person that's grumpy, cranky, judgmental, that doesn't treat people well, or always doubts if people have the right intentions and so forth, so even those qualities came from your growing up years. So these things have now become a part of your personality. Now, where did they come from? It all came from either watching and observing what you've seen in the past, or you have covered yourself to not be open to analyzing where these tendencies came from. Because nobody ever taught us that our personalities are formed because of our tendencies or what we have believed to be true in our mind. Nobody questioned why the cat was tied during the worship, right? So if you want to change your behavior, then you have to go back to the root of where it all started, right? The personalities, the tendencies that you experience today is a result of what you have been exposed to in the past. So if you want to change that, then you have to change the response to situations that may be similar, like you have been experiencing in the past, but your responses to that can change now. And that can happen when you are aware. And that's where when a thought arises, and based on your past tendencies, you're going to respond to that in a certain way. Take a pause, look at it objectively, and do the right thing. If a feeling gives you happiness, if a feeling gives you a sense of contentment, if a feeling tells you that you did the right thing, then that's probably the right action to take based on the feeling that you get. And therefore, take that pause and check if the feeling I'm getting here is that of jealousy or hatred or anger or doubt. Then take a pause, shift that, and see how I can change my response. And eventually, that's how you will replace your past tendencies with the new tendencies. There are a lot of things that we lose out on because of our past tendencies, and this is one way to replace those tendencies. So hopefully you'll contemplate and look back at all your tendencies in the past, and your instant reaction without thinking about it, and try and replace that with the newer tendencies that makes your life and the life of people around you happier and better. So this was today's contemplative insight. Hopefully this helps, and I will see you again in another contemplative insight in the next empty talk. Take care, love and peace. Bye-bye.